Hi, my name is Mike Montgomery, and today I'm going to be showing you how to turn some outdated kitchen cabinets like these into modern kitchen cabinets, like these, on modern builds. First off, I want to give a big thanks to Rockler for sponsoring this video and helping support my channel. Throughout the video, I'm going to be using and showing off a lot of cool hardware and jigs from Rockler. They're not absolutely necessary for this project, but they'll make your life a whole lot easier. Also, this is my buddy Caleb. It's his kitchen, so you're probably going to see him quite a bit in the video. Say hi. Hey. Good job. Alright, let's get started.
So this is just your classic, outdated, late 70s kitchen. The golden out cabinets, the old brass hinges, and the squeaky drawer slides. So the first step is just to take off those old door faces. The cool thing about it though is since these are solid oak door faces, I can save them and use them for something later. Maybe some cutting boards. And with all the doors removed, I could move on to my next step, which was removing the old face frame. Now I'm taking the face frame off for a couple reasons. One, because it has a routed profile on the edge, and two, I need the face frame to sit flush with the inside of my cabinets. That way, the hinges can go on correctly.
Okay, so all the face frames are off of the cabinets. Now, I want to make it very obvious that you may not need to do that step. The only reason that we're taking all the face frames off is because we're not using the same size door as what was already on the cabinet. With the slab-style doors, they extend all the way to the edge of the cabinets, and for the hinges to work right, the face frame needs to sit flush with the inside of these cabinets. So if you plan on using cabinet doors that are the same size as the ones that were already on there, or if you plan on reusing the doors that were already on there, you don't need to do this step.
Here I'm just sanding the face of the cabinets down, that way I could have a new clean surface to attach the new face frame onto. And I did this by using my table saw and cutting 1x6s into 3/4 by 3/4 inch squares that I could then attach to the cabinets.
So I'm just attaching these with a brad nailer. You can use a finish nailer too. I'm just going this route because the brad nailer leaves a smaller hole for the head, and that's less that I gotta fill in. You don't want to use a ton of glue because if you ever do need to take any of these fascia boards off, you don't want to take off the rest of the cabinets with it.
And the reason I'm not giving many dimensions for the new face frame is because every cabinet is gonna be different. You're gonna need to measure for yours specifically and cut to fit. And once I use some wood filler to fill in any gaps, I sanded everything flush. Here, I'm measuring my cabinet boxes so I can cut doors, and I'm making sure to take a measurement on each side and in the middle. This way, if the cabinet is out of square, I can use my largest measurement and cut the door to fit that. If I have a little bit overhanging on one of the sides, I can always trim that. I'm going to be using European style hinges to hang my door, and they require a recess in the door for the hinge to sit into. This jigget system from Rockler makes it really easy to drill exactly straight holes without a drill press. It also makes it really easy to make repeatable cuts. That way everything lines up really nice when you go to install everything. Also, a 12-inch framing square is another great way to keep everything lined up and perpendicular. And once I had my hinges on the doors, then I needed to put the other half of the hinge on the cabinet. Now this plate template makes it really easy, that way you have perfectly aligned holes and it's referenced square to the cabinet as well. And once your hinges are all screwed in, you could then attach your door to the cabinet. And then it's just a matter of fine-tuning everything to make everything square. And before this project, I had never used soft close hinges before. I gotta say, they're nice. Now working with existing cabinets, you're probably going to end up finding that they're not perfectly square. So on this door in particular, I made sure all of the other 3 sides of the door are square. Then I used a straight edge to mark a line parallel to the wall, and then I used a block plane to match that line. If you do this project, you're going to find that you're going to have to make minor adjustments like this. And once I had all my doors hung, I just used a belt sander to make sure that my doors and the outside of my cabinets were really nice and flush. And now that all the doors were done, I could move on to the drawers and the drawer faces. Now, I didn't show a video of me making these boxes simply because it's really simple and there's a ton of info out there for it. For my drawer face though, I marked the outline of the cabinet on a blank and cut that to fit. I wanted the drawer pull to be dead center on the cabinet face, so after I found the center, I used my drawer pull template from Rockler to mark the locations of the holes. Then I folded up a piece of paper 3 times and used that as a spacer, that way the cabinet would have enough room to open. Then I drilled through the face and into the drawer, and then attached the drawer pull. This gave the cabinet just enough room to be able to slide open and down. And I used the same template to install the cabinet handles as well. This time though, with the depth guide. And as with most renovation projects, we decided since we were already taking apart the cabinets, we might as well pull out the old countertops as well.
Alright, so all the hardware is on, as well as all of the doors and drawers. So now all we have to do is take it all apart, that way we can paint it, and then put it back together.
I should also go ahead and mention that all the products I'm using will be in my written article, so if you plan on doing this project, make sure and check that out. So once everything was taken apart and cleaned really well and wiped down with a tack cloth, we put on 2 coats of white primer. Now from what I understand, you'll get the best results from painting if you do it with an airless sprayer. But since we didn't have that, we used a high density foam roller, and we got pretty good results. Now because MDF is porous on the edges, we used a mixture of 3 parts wood glue and 1 part water to seal up the ends. And after the primer had cured, we sanded it with 150 grit and then put on 2 more coats of a fundamental white paint. While the paint on the doors cured, we went ahead and installed the new kitchen countertops. Now, I made a separate video of this just because it's really not related to the rest of the project, and if you want to see a link to that, check the description. And after waiting a full 24 hours for that paint to cure, we could go ahead and reinstall all the hardware and hang everything back onto the cabinets. Now I've got to say, I really love these hinges. I had never worked with European hinges before, and I've got to say, the adjustability that these hinges provide is really amazing. You can move them left to right, up to down. It really makes the process of fitting a door a lot less stressful. And with all the cabinet doors on and lined up, I could go ahead and reinstall the drawer faces as well. And once that was finished, so was I. Now this kitchen really came out great. The transformation from the beginning to the end is really astounding, and not to mention the fact that we did this all with just simple MDF. This was also my first remodel project ever, and I gotta say, it went pretty well, although it took about a week longer than I expected.
Alright, so that's all there is to it. Thanks a lot for watching. If this is your first time to my channel, I want to say welcome, as well as please subscribe, because I put out a new project video every week, and you'll definitely want to keep updated with those. If you've got any questions or comments on this project, make sure and leave that below. I try and answer all of those. And if you enjoyed this project, don't forget to hit that like button. That lets me know what kind of projects you guys are into and what you might be interested in next. I want to give a big thanks to Rockler again for sponsoring this video, and we'll see you next time on Modern Builds.